welcome to the TVI edition of Good Morning Anambra. My name is Chidinma Oramwa. Alright, today we'll have some reviewers with us in the building because the first point of call this morning is a press review. We get to meet them after this short break. Stay with us. Glad to have you back. The first person we have with us in the studio this morning is Kinsley Ugo. Kinsley is a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Kinsley.
Good morning, Chidinma. Good morning, Anambra. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. We also have with us in the studio this morning Honorable Clement Obinna Mweke, also a public affairs analyst. Honorable Obinna, good morning.
Good morning to you, Chidinma. Thank you.
All right, quickly let's start with the stories on ABS website this morning. Soludo inaugurates Isiaku Medical Oxygen Plant at Nimo Njikoke Council area. Anambra State Housing Development Authority seals 5 buildings in Oka over illegal occupation. 2023 DSS asks media to promote campaign on violence-free elections. Saludo commissions reconstructed failed portions of Amansi axis of Anambra Enugu Old Road. So these are what we have on ABS website this morning. Let's start with you, Kinsley.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, let me say that we have a very interesting headlines, but I am most attracted, to 2023. DSS asked media to promote campaign on violence-free elections. Yeah, why am I attracted to this? Because we are in a time, when election issue dominates our discourses there in the streets, at home, and everywhere. So I want to say, yes, this is a clearer call, on the media, to be part and parcel of the process of rebuilding Nigeria's democracy. And we clamor for a better Nigeria. There is no way we can attain that, if we are not all involved in a positive way, so to say. But then, I want to take exception on this call in the sense that the media have been at the forefront of championing free and fair elections in Nigeria. From their antecedents, you find out that they are even at the receiving ends at all times. They engage in the processes, right? From the build-up, to the election proper, even at the risk of their lives. So for DSS now, so they to tell them now, to be part and parcel of that process. I think it is just I take it as a reminder, not actually, an order, So having said this, I would want to say, yes, the media actually should buy into that, not minding, how, the statement came about. The important thing is that all hands must be on deck to build a stronger Nigeria, and our democracy must be sustained.
All right, well said. Over to you, Honorable Obinna.
Well, before I proceed, I would like to make some comment on regarding this call by DSS on the media to help in promoting free and fair, free violence election come 2023. The place of the media in every society cannot be overemphasized, because you find out that currently in our society, the media has taken almost every dimension of our daily affairs. their contributions in disseminating information. So it is on this very basis that it is important that whenever, if you are in a media platform, whenever you want to communicate an information, first you confirm the credibility of that very message that you want to convey, so that you don't end up, instigating violence at the end of the day. So I think what the DSS are doing at this very point in time is something good, and the media ought to buy into that. So talking about the road that the governor recently commissioned at Amansi, that is quite commendable, just within, I think in few days' time, the governor will be celebrating, or no, he has done that, his 100 days in office. Yes. So, and on marking that, he was able to commission 500 meters of road there in Amansi. Though on his inception of office, he made it clear that we have a very a terrible financial situation in the state. But you find out that within the space of about 3 months, the governor has been able to construct a road in the state. So it is quite commendable. It shows that the governor is prepared, that he came prepared. And I was meant to understand that this very road, he was able to get it done through cutting off the cost of some certain costs in governance. So these are the things that should be preached, because here in our state, I think and I believe that we have enough resources with which to sustain whatever developmental stride that we want to pursue. But the problem is that the cost of governance would not allow us. The government officials often engage in certain unnecessary expenses that in the end they won't be able to achieve anything. So, but the governor, being somebody that is determined, focused, and result-oriented, within this very space, he was able to cut the cost of some certain things, expenditure of the government, for him to be able to come up with that very road. So it is quite commendable, and let us believe that in few months to come, we'll still have some road, because currently the state of roads in Anambra State is quite deplorable. So, and the expectations on the current governor of Anambra State is quite high. So we still pray that he do more, while we pray that he succeeds in his administration. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that contribution. Quickly, let's go back to the first paper that reviewed this morning, and that is the National Star newspaper. The big story in front of the National Star. Ekweremadu, wife denied bail in UK over organ harvesting case. Buhari to UK Prime Minister Nnamdi Kanu must defend rant against Nigeria. We've built a national structure to give Tinubu 50 million votes, CIGI. And then up there, I visited Wike to discuss national issues, OB. Anambra pharmacists vow to take back profession from quacks. IPOP accuses federal government of taking Igbo arrested to north for torture and rituals. Right, these are what we have in front of the National Star newspaper. Kinsley, would you like to talk on the big story there?
Yeah, the big story there, Ekweremadu, why denied bail in UK over organ harvesting case. Yeah, I think when I saw this story, yesterday, to me, I had a mixed feelings, because when you consider the personality of Ike Ekweremadu and the story, as it were, obviously it will, you will feel concerned. So, but as time, went on, we were able to deduce, some things, to make some things out of it, Ordinarily, the hearing of the person of Ekweremadu in getting involved in a case of harvesting organ, I think it shows the consciousness, But then we can now understand, that story is coming out anyway, because we can't at this point, we can't say that this is what it is, because it is not within our mandate, to actually pronounce that. But then we judge based on the information at our disposal. So for the former deputy Senate president, to seek, for the health of his daughter, who needed, such transplant, I don't think it is not out of place, because the person in question, whom he is accused of trafficking, going by in the information and ground, it's like there was a consent, because if there wasn't a consent, he wouldn't even, have gotten the visa to go to the United Kingdom. But the processes, were executed, and he was taken to UK. Then things turned differently right there, in the sense that we wouldn't know what transpired, But then, at a point, the young man was said to be below
a minor.
I think that's, where the issue arises. But our senator, because he's a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and an Igbo, he's one of us. I believe, that according to sources, there was no point in time he trafficked a minor. And it was right there that the issue of minor came up. So I think they underwent the processes of visa, and no such issue arose. So why would it be there? So something fishy is there.
Well,
but having said this, there's nothing wrong in anybody donating organ to save a life. So there was no sharp or whatever, wrong practices, observable there in the process. Because we must be well informed, before we delve into issues as tricky as this.
All right.
But then the UK government, they have their system, because they've picked up, according to the boy, that he was a minor. So the issue has to be thrashed out according to their constitution. They don't bandy things around like we often do here. But I guess that we, even though we are learning the rope, we are progressing, but all the same, we must learn from them to be meticulous in our processes, including the information we get and how to synthesize that.
All right, just like you said, stories or things are still unfolding, because we keep on seeing so many stories, conflicting stories. Then we saw it later. We saw some things other people put up there to say that the guy wasn't a minor, that he's not actually 15 years, he's 21 years, so many stories. So we are keeping our fingers crossed until after investigation to know actually what transpired over there.
Well, actually, in as much as we must have to be a kind of sympathize with the Ikekwere Mado's family and pray for quick recovery of the daughter who is currently sick. I think that the former deputy speaker, deputy Senate president of the Federation is actually reaping from what they have brought the society into. Because it is unimaginable to say that someone who has been in the Senate for the past 20 years could have not done anything as it regards to the medical situation of the country. I don't know what it will take us to establish a hospital of international standard here in Nigeria, that whenever someone is sick, you have to go abroad to seek for medical attention. It's quite appalling, And these are people that have been in the corridor of power for years. They have every opportunity to bring all the necessary things that will make life easy for us, And if not that this very young guy is probably poor and was, looking for opportunities, I wonder what will make such a young guy to offer to donate his organ, even if the idea of doing that was consented by him. So I think it is an act of exploitation, you know, and then our leaders should learn from this thing because it is a kind of eye-opening, you know. And I'm happy because the UK is not Nigeria. In UK, you have due processes. So I just pray, just like every other well-meaning Nigeria, that in the end, we'll be able to come out of the problem. But then our leaders should start learning from the Western world, start putting all those things that they usually go outside the Western world to get. They ought to start putting it in place here so that it will be available for both the poor and the rich. So that is my comment over that. Then moving forward, regarding this Nnamdi Kanu issue where the president told the UK Prime Minister that Kanu must defend violence against Nigeria, you know, some analysts have argued that this issue ought to be settled in a kind of a political manner other than following that of the court process. And all of us knows that, we know that here in Nigeria, that the executive arm of government virtually controls every other arm of government. They control the judiciary, they control the legislative arm. So the fear is, even if Kanu tries to defend all these accusations against him, will he be able to get justice in the end? So that is the question that we should be asking. And you know that this very court issue and agitations thereof has actually caused tension in the country and arose many mixed feelings. So that is why some persons are still suggesting and arguing that that there should be a political means to the issue other than that of the court process. And I think that is what the president ought to consider at this very point in time, considering the security situations, issues that is associated with this case and agitations. So the president should consider having an alternative means of settling this issue, maybe out of court settlement, other than insisting that Kanu must answer to whatever accusations they are making against him.
Okay.
So that
All
is
right. Just to let you know that you can actually be part of this program this morning. The number for you to call in is already displayed on your screen. Call in if you want to contribute on the topics that we are raising on the press review this morning. All right, so quickly let's go over to the next paper. That is the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. Tension deepens in APC over defection plan by lawmakers. Concerned legislators insist on moves despite Adamu's intervention. Party chair talks tough on 2023 presidential poll. Oshun Guba. Nigeria saved 10 trillion naira operating treasury single account. Federal government. We can still see the story of Ekweremadu up there, but they are now telling us that they've been denied bail and they will remain in UK custody till July 7. Then impeachment, Mbata Oyo, Deputy Governor replies House of Assembly. Hijab judgment, lawyer court sister appears in Supreme Court in traditional attire. Mbaka appeals to follower, says he will return on orders of Bishop Onaga. Buhari, why I won't try thought them, debunks claims I probably did not have access to his lawyer. Enugu collaborates with INSEE on upgrade of State Medical Diagnostic Center.
Let's take on Buhari, why I won't try third time. Yes, I think it's a good, a very interesting story, you know, because in the first instance, a lot of things, you know, do happen. Much intrigues, you know, that sometimes the populace get confused on what, you know, to accept. The issue of part-time agenda actually, for, you know, did not just, you know, come up by accident here. You know, probably due to the antecedents, some people, there might be concerns whether the democracy, the ongoing democracy in Nigeria has actually taken root or not, because if anybody should try to circumvent what we have on ground, I think it is tantamount to rubbing off on our democracy. But be that as it may, I think Buhari his body language has not even indicated any intention to prolong his tenure. The issue, as we see it, and as we've been seeing it, I think it borders on who succeeds him. So, but I think probably the UK Prime Minister, did not actually or wasn't too aware of the tenureship in Nigeria, and that was why he asked Mr. President during the Commonwealth, his visit to UK for the Commonwealth, whether he is running for the third term. And the response from the president, was very, very clear that he never had that intention. Why? Because, as he cited, the person that attempted it didn't end better. So I don't think he would in any way be tempted to toe the path again. So I want to commend him, for being a gentleman to that point and to that extent, because the expression had always been, that corruption, let me not get that anyway. But then we understand how the tendency to get immersed in corruption once you are given power. So I think it is a good thing for the president to stand his ground, not to be tempted into toying with our constitution to elongate his power for the third time, even though that has happened in some other African countries, but good enough, he is not buying that idea.
All right, quickly, let's go over to the Punch newspaper. The big story there: aggrieved National Assembly members plan showdown with governors over lost ticket. And we have riders there. Senators who lost a ticket to governors, 8 plan for governorship. National Assembly battles. Abiodun Fayemi, ECOWAS 8 triumph in Ogun. Delta, Ekiti, Amosu's men lose out. Zamfara rep clinch PDP ticket after dumping APC. Accused ruling party of cheating. Up there, marketers notify federal government on planned fuel price hike. Queues persist. Southern leaders didn't agree on zone to produce president. This is coming from Okowa. We can meet Orubebe PDP senators, and there we can see the picture in front of the Punch newspaper. Hijab ruling drama as lawyer wears native doctor attire to Supreme Court. Now, government kidnap Ebonyi monarch, Nasarawa DPO, Ekiti and 7 other travelers. Forget about workers' salaries if petrol subsidy continues. This is a report from all suppliers. All right, Honorable Buna, this is what we have in front of the Punch newspaper this morning.
All wonderful. I will have to take up with the aggrieved National Assembly members' planned showdown with
governors over lost tickets.
One problem we have in Nigeria is this issue of power oligarchy. Whenever a politician come in taste or in contact with power, that very person would like to keep on with that. They wouldn't like to let go, And one of the few individuals who have argued that political offices in recent days have become poverty alleviation platforms. So I have always argued and maintained that if you are able to be empowered or elevated from poverty through any political offices, once you do a term of 1 or 2 terms, you have to give way for others to come in and to enable them benefit from what you have actually benefited. But I think the reason why these National Assembly members who have actually contested for the party ticket and lost will have to go into show off with the state governors or those who are able to grab the ticket is because they want to keep in touch with power. And that is selfishness, that is greed, and that is what has kept us in the present situation that we are as a country and as a people. And it is not only about the National Assembly, it boils down to the state level and to the local government levels.
Please hold your thoughts.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and your location.
Yeah. This is calling from Kaduna.
All right, go ahead.
For the first time, I thank you again. And I pray God will protect you people and give you the strength to move Nigeria forward.
Thank you.
I start with the hijab. A lawyer wearing a traditional wear to court. My sister, my brother, we see the drama that Nigeria today we find ourselves because of fanatics that we have in our nation today. That people are taking religion into government. That is not the kind of nation that we Nigerians or our founding fathers, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, bring in this nation. That Nigeria forget their goal and begin to pursue the shadow, looking for religion as a policy. Check it out today. What is it telling us in our body today that hijab has become, or religion has become kind of a thing that we should use as a code of conduct of our nation? It's a shame and it's a taboo in this nation called Nigeria. Let's forget all these sentiments aside and fight for great Nigeria. Now, coming back again about Nnamdi Kanu to defend his laws and whatever they call it. My sister and my brother, look, how many, I want to ask you people, how many kidnappers or Fulani headsmen or the kidnappers that are paraded, Sharia people that are paraded in court that kill people, to execute them? It's only Nnamdi Kanu, they are parading up and down. Look, let's be conscious of ourselves. The justice, fairness, equity must be revived in our nation, Nigeria. Let's stop casting shadows. They're coming again about...
Please, we need to go on. Just summarize. We need to go ahead.
It's a very big shame and laugh.
All right, thank you so much for your contributions this morning. You were saying something.
Yes,
quickly.
but before I proceed, he made one comment that I would like to comment on. He said something about this religious stuff. One of the greatest evil that the Westerners did to we Nigerians was dividing Nigeria across religious line, and that has been our problem over the years. That today, when you talk of leadership and politics in Nigeria, if it is not in agreement with one's or individuals' political ideas or belief, that very person may have to disagree with that. So it is an evil and a bad thing. And on that very regard, there is what I call elite conspiracy, because the elites of their nation now took advantage of that whenever they want to go on political aspirations, they now leverage on that to grab whatever their interest is. And it's a very bad thing that we Nigerians must stand to, it is time we stand against that. So that is what I want to say about that. Then regarding what I was saying earlier about the National Assembly members who lost their ticket and they are ready to go into show off with the governors. like I said, it is an act of power oligarchy, you know, and whatever and however they want to achieve whatever they want to do with the state governors, I do not know. But I think that everything boils down to the masses. If in the end the masses decides that whomever they want to choose is whom they will lead them, then they will go about to choose whomever they want to choose.
All right.
So that is my comment.
All right, the next paper this morning is the Guardian newspaper. Federal government auto gas plant stalls amid costly diesel and poor planning. We have riders there. Failure frustrates conversion scheme from diesel to CNG petrol engines. Federal government explains progress despite low enrollment. We can afford 5 million naira truck conversion rate, NATO says. Ipman, without petrol subsidy, Nigeria would have been paying 900 naira per litre. Amoteku arrests suspects in Owo attack, recovers car ammunition. Families of Abuja Kaduna train abductees says victims planning suicide. UK confirms first vaccine-derived poliovirus in 38 years. And then, okay, these are what we have in front of the Guardian newspaper. So, Kingsley, over to you now.
FG Autogas plant stalls amid costly
Diesel and poor planning, yes.
Yes, I am concerned, and I want to believe that I am not just alone in this concern, you know, because from what obtains in our client now, an average Nigerian is in dilemma what the future holds. You know, today we are talking about industry folding in Nigeria. Why? A lot of issues arise here. But particularly, we are talking about the high cost of diesel. This is a product that we have in abundance. This is a product that should stimulate our economic growth, because it is what we can reach out and then use it to insulate it in other sectors that will actually give us a lead. But we've allowed that chance to slip away. It is a shame, you know, that auto gas plant rather, you know, is facing this kind of situation. Why are we are not even in shortage of gas, but the cost of it is the issue. A liter of gas now goes up to 800 and something naira, and from what we gather here, it is being subsidized. We are not having the benefit of, we are not deriving the benefit of having that product in our soil. Okay. Now, it spills over to so many other things, because the petroleum sector, we can't, we say that yes, we are spending a lot of money subsidizing petroleum in the country, and we are not getting, we are not deriving it, because the gas that sustains that is very, very high. Now, what's the essence of that subsidy? We are not seeing it. It seems that we rob Peter to pay Paul. What am I driving at? The marketers, you know, they are lobbying, you know, for increase in transport. I think some of us, you know, who are familiar with that story now, you know, where they are lobbying for increase in freight fare. I think that's exactly why they even shelved their protest. And what are they protesting? They want an increase in freight by the federal government. And they have pressurized the federal government to concede to their demand. These things are not faring well for us, because in the first instance, they are affecting cost of products in Nigeria. We're seeing inflation here and there, cost of living going too high, and who is responsible for this? I think we blame government, and that's exactly where this headline is coming from. Poor planning. We've actually failed in our plannings, to address these issues.
All right, let's know you here. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Tell us your name and your location.
Hello, yes, good morning.
Yeah. What is your name?
Good morning, my name is Dante.
All right, quickly.
Yeah, I love your program. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, welcome.
I think our politicians should learn how to, after the political is over, if they lost election, they should also try other means of businesses by way of investing their money into something that can help the people, employ people, not just be in politics forever.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for your contributions. All right, quickly, let's see what we have in front of the Daily Independent. We have 4 papers remaining, so we are going to take them all at once. Daily Independent, Buhari reveals plan to increase salaries of civil servants, rebuffs Thorntham suggestion by UK Prime Minister. And then my bishop will decide when I will return to adoration ground, Mbaka. Amoteku arrests suspects behind Owo massacre. Gunmen kidnap Ebonyi monarch. Court orders McCourt to forfeit assets to federal government to wind up. We have saved the 10 trillion naira through TSA, federal government. And then Daily Trust newspaper, we still see Ekwerem Madu, wife risks life imprisonment in UK to remain in custody till July 7. Victim a minor prosecutor. It's for my daughter, kidney transplant, as Deputy Senate President says. Weekend's romance with APC, Labour Party raises dust in PDP. Rivers Governor weighs option, no crisis in our party, PDP. Bala Mohammed, others move to Placet Governor. The Nation newspaper now, we can see in front of the Nation right now, Amote could disagree over arrest of Owo attack a suspect. This is coming from the police. 70,000 ghost workers flushed out of federal civil service. Defections, why senators rep may lose seats. And finally, Nigerian Tribune this morning, the big story there is still talking about the alleged organ harvesting by Ekwerem Madu and the wife. Defections, what Adamu promised aggrieved APC lawmakers. Women body confers posthumous award on HID Awolowo. And then Atiku Okowa ticket will rest power from APC. Those are the things we have in front of the 4 papers. So over to you now, Honorable Obina. Let's know the one you want to speak on quickly because we don't have time again.
Okay, I'll have to take up with the Atiku Okowa tickets. Yes, Atiku Okowa ticket will rest the power from APC. This is actually coming from Delta State government.
Governor, yes.
So I think their opinion is not out of place here. But then I don't actually know the permutations that inform their opinion. I mean, there are political permutations that inform such opinion. But looking at the current political uprisings in Nigeria, you will agree with me that PDP and APC, in terms of presidential election, I think, in my own opinion, they are out of the game currently. So, this Okowa vice presidential candidature, the choice of Okowa there, I think that was made in order to know if they will be able to get the vote of the Southerners and possibly the Easterners. But that wouldn't actually make a lot of impact because, PDP as a political party went against their own constitution. And I think that is going to hurt them in 2023 election. PDP as a political party is a party that before now that usually maintains zoning. But in the case of 2023 election, they decided to gestation zoning and throw their ticket open. And this is a party that the southeast and south-south region of Nigeria since inception have always supported, contributed for the growth and the success of the
So
party.
in summary, what are you driving at?
What I'm trying to say is that the opinion of the Delta State government here may not actually be right as far as this 2023 election is concerned.
All right,
Thank you.
quickly, Kinsley, just in 1 minute.
Yeah, I take on a man appears in court dressed in native doctor's attire. Why do I take on that? I think it was, a surprise to many. Not many actually believed what they saw, especially when it filtered in the social media platforms. But it's a reality. But the fact there is, yes, it emanated from Supreme Court's judgment about use of hijabs in secondary schools. So I think Nigeria is a secular state, and we must respect individuals' rights in this country. What is good for the gander must be good for the geese, and what is good for the geese must be good for the gander. What are we trying to say? If the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, should allow the use of hijab as a uniform in school, I think because we are running a constitution that allows individual faith, even the traditionalists must be recognized. So if he appeared there is no standard again, to dismiss him or accuse him of anything. So I think it was the lawyer's right, and we should come to a point of accepting opposing views in all things we do.
All
and
right.
with this, we move our country forward.
On that note, we want to say a very big thank you to both of you for joining us this morning. Kinsley, thank you so much for being here
Thank you
this
so much.
morning. And also to you, Honorable Clement Obinawake, thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you.
Well, that's it on Press Review this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you at the other side. Stay with us after this short break. We'll be right back.